talking specifically about infrastructure spending, aren't you, Dagan?
Well, and also infrastructure spending.
Well, let's talk about infrastructure because we got a great
plan.
plan.
Can I just finish my sentence?
Sure.
Because Trump came out and said, I'm going to double what Hillary Clinton does. And if you're a conservative, you don't think that infrastructure spending is the end-all, be-all for economic growth, but he's going to spend double what she wants to spend.
Well,
he said that.
Have us back on, me and Wilbur Ross, and we will walk through a beautiful infrastructure plan that uses revenue-neutral tax credits to basically build $1 trillion of infrastructure without burdening the taxpayer or without raising taxes of business. This is a great question because what Hillary Clinton wants to do with her infrastructure plan, hear this, she wants to raise taxes on businesses to raise $225 billion. Is that pro-growth? No. And then she wants to take a part of that and create an infrastructure bank, right? Which is going to leverage funds on a 9-to-1 basis. She's basically introducing subprime lending to the government. I mean, haven't we learned anything from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac?
What we're missing, too, is that she actually, every time she does something like this, it's riddled with special interests. She's the crony capitalist queen. I mean, I can't imagine another candidate that would operate the country in the benefit of herself as opposed to the people. And you can even go look at what happened in Haiti. They promised 60,000 jobs at a manufacturing plant. They only got 5,000 jobs for friends of Bill. So we are consistently seeing everything that she would do would be littered with special interests and what could benefit her and the global
I think, you know, there was an article of the New Yorker back when she was running before and Obama was beating her up for NAFTA. They called her the laundry lady, basically, meaning that all she does is do a bunch of lists that are pollster tail, and he throws these things out, and people grab onto it like she's actually going to do anything. But I mean, it doesn't pass the smell test. Barack Obama in 2008, when he was running as a candidate against Hillary, basically promised the people of Ohio he was going to get rid of NAFTA, right? At the same time he was doing that, his economic advisor, Austin Goolsbee, who was also Hillary's now, was sneaking into the Canadian consulate and saying, don't worry, he doesn't mean it. And guess what? He didn't mean it, because 8 years later, we still got NAFTA destroying North Carolina and Ohio and Pennsylvania and all of these swing states.
But does he need a better way to say it, Peter? I mean, we all know that the priority right now needs to be economic growth. And the question is, how do you get to economic growth? Do you move the needle on economic growth by lowering taxes and rolling back regulation, or do you move the needle on economic growth another way? Is Trump doing a good enough job of really communicating that message that the priority right now is economic growth? And you're not getting economic growth and you're not getting job creation with what we've seen in the last 8 years.
Well, let's test that. I got on the set today, and the first thing you asked me was about rigged elections, and we've spent this whole segment doing what? Talking about economic growth. The way that gets done is where people like me and the candidate, basically when any of this other crap comes up, you just go, well, let's talk about what really matters to the people. So that has to happen.
Since the convention, his supporters and potential supporters since the convention have been praying every day that he would stay on message, and he can't do it.
And I'm praying every day that when I get on a set or I talk to a radio show, that they will ask me questions about economics. And if they don't, I just pivot right to it.
We are asking you about that.
Amen. That's beautiful.
The candidate needs to quit making...
That's the point. We've had a great discussion. Yes, sir.
The candidate, Trump, needs to quit making excuses. He needs to quit blaming the media and other. And he needs to do exactly what you've done and repoint the conversation to what's important. And if jobs in the economy are important, talk about jobs in the economy. But he takes the bait time after time.
Well, I'm here. We're talking about the economy. We got.
What is he going to do?
But you're not going to be in his shoes Wednesday night, Peter.
Here's what's interesting, because we talk about the rigged media. I was thinking about this a lot. It's like, so far we've had Lester Holt, Martha Raddatz, and Anderson Cooper be moderators. Now, what do those three people have in common? They really don't know anything about the details of economic policy, of financial markets, of healthcare intricacies. They're basically celebrities, and they did not serve the American people well at all. All three of them, and I think the worst was probably Anderson Cooper. Chris Wallace has a chance to make a difference. Here, I think he will. Every single one of those topics are related to the policies which Donald Trump trumps Hillary Clinton on. I mean, you can go, tell me a policy where Donald Trump doesn't have a better policy. If you look at the economy, yeah. You look at health care, Obamacare's a mess. You look at immigration, Hillary wants open borders. Donald Trump wants to have secure borders. You can go right down the list.
Right.
And this is what we want.
We know that. His message is much clearer and simple and straightforward. Lower taxes, roll back regs, tap into energy. Hers is not so cohesive. We don't really know how she's going to move the needle on economic growth. So what is her strategy? Take him off message.
Him down.
Take him off of what he's talking about because it makes so much sense. We'll see if he understands that.
I hope the voters have figured that out in the last 3 weeks and demand discussions about policy.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much for having a great economics discussion
For sure.
today.
Peter, good to see you.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Peter Navarro there will be